the secret to making him emotionally addicted to you. Welcome to KGB, your intimacy coach. You know, imagine having a man so deeply connected to you that he thinks about you non-stop. Imagine being the one that he confides in, that he cherishes and prioritizes above all else. It's not about playing games or manipulation. It's about creating a real deep emotional bond that makes him feel safe and understood and completely drawn to you. Today I'm revealing 5 powerful ways to make a man emotionally addicted to you. So pay close attention because these insights could change your relationship or your relationship to come. So understanding is the foundation of every meaningful relationship. Yet it's one of the most overlooked aspects of emotional connection. So if you want a man to feel deeply attached to you, if you want to be irreplaceable in his life, you must become the person who understands him in a way that nobody else does. This isn't about flattery or surface level compliments. It's about seeing him for who he truly is, seeing his struggles, his ambitions, his insecurities, and responding with a depth that makes him feel safe in your presence. Most men go through life without ever really feeling understood. They're conditioned to suppress their emotions, to toughen up, to carry the weight of responsibility without complaining. And society tells them that their worth is measured by their achievements, by their ability to provide, and by how well they push through pain without showing weakness. Yet beneath that exterior, every man, just like every person, has wounds, doubts, and fears that they rarely express. When a woman comes along who doesn't listen to his words but actually hears him, who can pick up on what he's not saying, who doesn't dismiss his worries or tell him to just get over it or even expect that, something extraordinary really happens. He begins to associate her with relief, with comfort, with a kind of understanding that he's never truly felt before. And once a man experiences that level of connection, it's nearly impossible for him to walk away from it. But understanding, it's not just about being a passive listener, it's about curiosity, it's about asking the right questions, not in a way that interrogates him or pressures him, but in a way that makes him feel like his thoughts and feelings actually matter. If he mentions something in passing, remember it. If he shares a dream, encourage that. If he talks about his past, don't just nod, engage with it. What did that experience teach him? How does he feel about that now? What does he wish someone told him back then? Men are drawn to women who see them not just as what they present to the world, but for who they are beneath it all. This doesn't mean accepting everything without question. Challenging a man and pushing him to think a little deeper and holding him to high standards is just as important. But the challenge has to come from a place of genuine care, not criticism. When a man feels you understand both his strengths and his struggles, when he sees that you respect his potential whilst also accepting his flaws, he won't just want you in his life, he'll need you there. Purpose and need. Men are wired for purpose. They seek meaning through their actions, through their ability to provide, to protect, to be someone of value. This isn't just like a cultural construct, it's deeply embedded in biology. In psychology, in the very nature of what it means to be a man. If a man feels useless in a relationship, if he feels like he isn't needed or his presence makes no meaningful impact, he will detach. He may stay physically, but emotionally he will drift. And that's where many relationships begin to fall apart. Not through sudden betrayal or dramatic conflict, but through a slow erosion of purpose where he no longer feels his presence is even necessary or significant. This isn't to say men only seek relationships where they can dominate or control. That's a misrepresentation of true masculinity. A man doesn't want a weak woman, someone entirely dependent on him who cannot stand, on her own. What he wants, what he needs is to feel his strength, his presence, his actions, that they make a difference. When he feels that he has a role to play, when his efforts are noticed and appreciated, that's when he truly becomes invested. And that's when he stops viewing a relationship as just something he's in and starts to see it as part of his identity, something he's responsible for, something he's deeply connected to. Women who understand this don't use it as manipulation, but as a bridge to deeper connection. They recognise that allowing a man to step into his natural role as a protector, as a provider, not just financially, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, it brings out the very best in him. It's in those moments when he feels needed, when he feels he's making a difference in your life, that he becomes truly addicted to the relationship. Too many relationships today are built on competition rather than cooperation. There's this modern idea that acknowledging a man's need to feel important means submitting to him. That, letting him take the lead in certain areas means giving up your independence. Crapola, that's nonsense. Strength in a relationship isn't about proving that you don't need each other. It's about recognizing that you actually do. And understanding that needing each other in different ways it's not weakness, it's balance. A man wants to feel he can guide, offer wisdom, be of service to the person that he loves. When a woman acknowledges this, not through blind praise, but genuine appreciation, he feels that pull, that attachment, that deep emotional connection that makes him want to stay. It's why a simple phrase like, "I love you," or "I love how you handled that situation," "I love you how you did that," "I feel safe when I'm with you," it means so much more than extravagant gifts or grand gestures, because those words reinforce his sense of purpose and validate something fundamental about who he is. Then think of positive energy. People are drawn to those who bring light into their lives. They seek out energy and warmth and upliftment, often without realising it. It's a fundamental truth of human nature that we move towards those, what feels good and away from what drains us. In relationships, this principle is magnified. A man will always crave the presence of a woman who makes him feel alive, who fills his world with positivity, who represents something more than just the mundane repetition of daily life. This isn't about being an entertainer or constantly putting on a happy face. That's shallow and unsustainable. It's about cultivating a genuine sense of purpose, optimism, and growth within yourself. When you embody that radiates outward. It changes how people experience you, how they react to you. A man who associates with you with warmth and inspiration rather than stress and negativity will naturally want to be around you. It's not manipulation, that's human psychology. The problem is that so many people carry the weight of their frustrations into their relationships every day, every time they walk in the door, that they become defined by the complaints and anxieties and resentments. They don't realise that every interaction with their partner creates an experience. And that experience either draws a person closer or pushes them away. If a man comes home and is met with hostility, criticism, or constant emotional heaviness, he will instinctively withdraw. It won't happen overnight, but over time he'll begin to feel he's walking into something that just drains him rather than fills him. This doesn't mean suppressing negative emotions or pretending that life is, always easy. Don't look at it through rose-coloured glasses. That's just naive and dishonest. But real connection comes from authenticity, not pretending everything is perfect. But there is a difference between working through challenges together as a team and making negativity the foundation of a relationship. A man needs to feel his partner help him carry life's burdens, not add to them unnecessarily. Women who understand this know how to become, they know how to balance that emotional depth with emotional strength. They don't deny struggles, but don't dwell on them either. They recognise that energy is contagious, both positive and negative. When you bring enthusiasm, show gratitude, laugh, and approach life with adventure rather than dread, it just shifts the entire relationship dynamic. A man begins to associate you with something greater than companionship. He sees you as the source of meaning, as a part of his life that makes him better, a better person. This is why attraction isn't just about looks. Physical attraction matters, but what keeps a man coming back, what makes him addicted on an emotional level, is how he feels around you. If he feels inspired and stronger and more capable, then he will crave your presence. But if he feels diminished and exhausted, like he must constantly defend himself, he will withdraw, even if he doesn't fully understand why. Here's why mystery and unpredictability, are so important. Predictability is the enemy of attraction. People don't fall in love with what is entirely known. They fall for what is compelling, what is just beyond reach, that keeps them engaged, striving, curious. This is especially true for men who are wired to pursue, to seek, to want something that feels both deeply connected and slightly elusive. When a relationship becomes too predictable, when there is no tension, no anticipation, it loses its spark. And without that spark, emotional addiction cannot form. This doesn't mean playing games or being emotionally unavailable. That's immature and ultimately destructive, but it does mean a man should never feel he has fully figured you out. There should always be a little depth to you that he's still discovering, aspects of your personality or interests, your thoughts that keep him engaged. When a man feels he knows exactly what you'll say or do, there's no challenge for him. There's no tension. He begins to disengage. It's how they're made up. Not from malice or conscious choice, but because the human mind craves mystery and excitement and a sense of the unknown. The mistake that many women make is believing that once a relationship is secure, that's it, the work's done. They become overly available, overly accommodating, and remove the very elements that made them attractive to him initially. If you're always there, always predictable, always responding in the same way, a man stops experiencing the emotional high that made him crave your presence. He takes it for granted, not from ungratefulness, but because that's how the human brain works. We adapt to what's always there. We stop valuing what no longer feels scarce. To keep a man emotionally addicted, there must be moments of distance, moments where he feels your absence. He really feels your absence, where he wonders about you, where he feels uncertain, not about your love or commitment, but about the fact that you're an independent person with your own thoughts, your own passions, and a purpose. When a man knows you're not just waiting for him, that your life is full and meaningful with or without him, it makes him work to be a part of it. And that effort, that striving, deepens his attachment. This is why maintaining your identity is crucial. If you drop everything for a man, if your entire world revolves around him, you remove what made him attracted to you initially. He fell for you because you were interesting, you had depth, you had something unique that he wanted to understand and be a part of. If that uniqueness fades, if you become just another predictable part of his life, the emotional intensity that bonded him to you will erode. The most powerful relationships are where both people continue to grow, challenge each other, surprise each other. That means sometimes stepping back, letting him wonder what you're thinking, making him work a little harder to earn your attention. It means not always being immediately available, not always giving the same responses, not always making things easy. Because in that little bit of tension, in that space between, certainty and uncertainty is where desire lives. Men don't become emotionally addicted to what's effortless. They become addicted to what they must strive for, what keeps them engaged, what challenges them in a way that makes them feel more alive. When you embody that balance of closeness and distance and warmth and challenge and familiarity and mystery, you create a bond that isn't just love, but something more powerful, something he cannot walk away from. Because it's not just a relationship, it's an experience that keeps him coming back for more. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these strategies resonates most with you? When you try this, do you notice a difference in how the emotional connection changes a relationship? Discuss it, in the comments below. Let's have a conversation. If you find this valuable, then don't forget to like and share and subscribe for more powerful relationship insights. But remember, love isn't about chasing, it's about attracting. Men need an emotional, like that physical connection to have an emotional one. So you need to work on building that emotional connection. Whereas women are the opposite. We need that emotional connection to want a physical one. So help him learn the emotional side. Help him see that he can't be without you. I'm KGB. Hope I can help.